Conscious Leadership Podcast, the human side of leadership, where consciousness meets practical business leadership. The podcast dives into real challenges managers face, from team motivation to navigating change. Discover actionable insight, proven strategies, and inspiring stories to help you lead with clarity, authenticity, and impact. Whether you are an SME owner, a team leader, or simply passionate about conscious leadership, this podcast will equip you with the tools to build stronger teams, foster trust, and achieve sustainable success. Tune in, lead consciously, and make a difference. Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of the Conscious Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Boris Nedved, and today I'm diving with you into a topic that lies for me at the very core of what it means to lead consciously. It's breaking free from conditioning and really celebrating uniqueness in the workplace. This episode is inspired by the chapter Breaking Free of Conditioning, Celebrating Uniqueness from my book Human Centric Business. To truly thrive as a leader, we must understand the subtle yet powerful influence that homogenization has had and has on us in our organizations, and how to move beyond it and into a space of empowered, or I even call it empowered, individuality and conscious business design. Before we start, I want to begin with a quote that sets for me the tone. And the quote is from Earl Nightingale from The Stranger's Secret, podcast in the 50s, and for me a very, very intriguing podcast actually. He said, "Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. The opposite of courage in our society is conformity, and people acting like everyone else without knowing why, without knowing where they are going. This is conformity. And how do we break free from that? How do we break free from homogenization? Historically, industrialization pushed us into uniformity, inconformity, and standardization. Because a one-size-fits-all model made sense. Made sense in a world where predictability and efficiency were the only priorities. Think back of Ford introducing the production chain and the T model and things like that. Yes, it was predictability, it was efficiency, it was based on output. But that model no longer fits today's dynamic business environment. In fact, the very diversity and uniqueness that were once minimized are now the key attributes, are now the key to innovation, agility, and resilience. So from my perspective, the future of business lies in celebrating individuality. This is why my business is called Human in the Center. It's bringing back the human individuality back into the center of attention in businesses. And this belief is for me the beating heart of conscious leadership. Conscious leadership calls us to look beyond systems of control and efficiency, and instead start recognizing the deep wisdom in honoring each person's unique strengths, unique experiences, unique talents and perspectives. When leaders are conscious, they create environments where diversity isn't just acknowledged, isn't just the buzzword that everybody is talking about. It's championed as the foundation for innovation and long-term success. Encouraging people to bring their whole selves to work, to use their voice, their talents, their varied experiences, unleashing creativity and transforming problem solving. But to break free from homogenization and conformity, we must do more than just believe. We need actionable strategies, systemic changes, and, from my perspective, a bold leadership. Breaking the rules, going new ways. The challenge of a one-size-fits-all approach, it's, when I look at it in my work, in my work experience, in my work with organizations across sectors, as well in analyzing and writing my book, I've observed a consistent trend of standardized practices that limit rather than empower. I see this in linear and generic career paths. Are they made for individuals? Good question. Cookie cutter onboarding. Everybody is treated the same way because, this is the role, this is the job. This is the onboarding process. Performance evaluations that focus more on deficits than strengths. How often were you told what goes wrong, what is not so good, what to improve, instead of like, wow, this is great, this you have done very well. Think about it. And even in our schooling system, that is still the same. But I do not want to dive into that because that's a completely different topic that would deviate me further and further and further. And I have my own opinion on schooling system as well. Now, when you think of businesses, consider Blockbuster and what happened like when Netflix came. Blockbuster's downfall wasn't just a missed opportunity. It was a symptom of systemic rigidity. They didn't believe that this would work. They got stuck to outdated assumptions and failed to recognize how consumers, how clients' needs had evolved. Then they weren't alone. Think of Kodak. Despite inventing actually digital photography, they resisted the shift to digital because it threatened their established business model. There are many, many more similar examples. Nokia and Apple, and so on. In all cases, an adherence to homogenized thinking cost these companies their place in the market. These stories are and definitely should be a wake-up call. Conformity might feel safe, and I'm a human being as well. I don't like change and transformation all the time. I want to have a stable environment. But this conformity, this staying in my comfort zone, is a safe haven. But it's often the first step into irrelevance, into too comfortable. And conscious leaders recognize where the conformity is limiting growth because they pay attention and they choose to foster diverse thinking, flexibility, and personalized development instead. So how can you overcome the tendency to homogenize? How can you break free from homogenization? It begins with a commitment to strategic personalization or individualization. And here's my perspective and some steps on how I would do it. I would start doing it. Number one is leadership development. Leadership development that champions individuality. Think of leadership trainings. Because leadership training is a central lever for cultural transformation. I've seen firsthand how training that helps leaders recognize and nurture individual strengths and how that shifts the energy of an entire team when these leaders come back and start implementing. Here, I'm definitely not talking all the trainings that we all know and that have proven not to be working. Assessment models that I've talked about before, like MBTI, 16 personality, Clifton Strength Finder, all these bias-driven methodologies that are like situational bias and so on. Instead of trying to mold everyone to fit the same model, these programs help leaders appreciate the nuance of human difference. For instance, workshops that really explore the energetic dynamics through BG5 and peer circles that build this relational awareness. These are so powerful tools that can rewire leadership mindset. And when managers see their people not just as roles, but as these multidimensional individuals that we all are, the team morale and collaboration will skyrocket. You can have as well personalized career paths. That is the second stage. Traditional career development assumes a uniform path. We are not uniform. We are all unique. People have different ambitions. People have different strengths. People have different rhythms. By creating personalized development plans based on the individual characteristics, and their attributes. Companies not only support employee growth, but also optimize talent alignment. Imagine a system where career paths flex with an employee's life cycle and life phase, interests, natural decision-making strategy, talents, preferences, and so on. In practice, this means less burnout, more fulfillment, longer retention. It's a win-win for both the employee and the organization. And in the middle, the leader, because it makes it easier, it makes it more fun. You can, thirdly, create a culture that celebrates uniqueness. This inclusive culture that isn't just built on slogans or because we need to have it. It's built on genuine day-to-day actions. Day-to-day actions that reinforce belonging, authenticity. You can encourage psychological safety, and I've spoken about that before, so that employees can speak up, can challenge norms, and share ideas freely without the fear of being punished or being laughed. Use mechanisms like open forums, innovation labs, storytelling sessions to normalize diverse expressions of success. And recognition should be beyond metrics. Consider peer-nominated awards, feedback circles, culture credits that celebrate creative contributions and lift values, lift diversity, lift individuality. When people feel seen and valued for who they are, for what they bring, not just what they produce, engagement will rise dramatically. I've talked about it in more or less details in all of my previous podcast episodes already. The fourth point is re-engineering business processes. The business process we have is for standardization. They are not made for individuality, so we need to re-engineer business processes. And to truly embed this mindset, we need to redesign processes around human beings, around human uniqueness, because every human being is unique. Recruitment, team formation, decision-making, all these elements should factor in energetic compatibility, communication styles, decision-making preferences, work environment preferences, and so on. So it covers the whole employee life cycle in an organization, where you can bring in these subtle but very important, unique individual differences. And this is where tools like BG5 and O16 shine. I don't want to dive into these tools now, but they bring out the unique essence of an individual. And they help leaders to assemble teams not based on resumes and based on functional skills, but on how they contribute energetically, how they contribute to the energetic flow, the synergy and the alignment of the team. They make the team ultimately a team. This minimizes internal friction and maximizes collaboration. And I've talked about it before, not everybody is made for collaboration, even though, it's high on the flags of every company. We are collaborating. But not everybody likes to collaborate in the same way. So imagine assigning roles based on how people naturally contribute. Who leads? Who supports? Who innovates? Who stabilizes? This is all in the individual design. And this is what conscious team design looks like for me. So for me, the conclusion of all of that is there must be a shift to human-centric business. Breaking free from the trap of homogenization, of standardization, from conformity isn't just a progressive ideal. For me, it's a strategic necessity to stay relevant. And in a world where complexity is the norm, this diversity, this uniqueness is not a challenge. It's, for me, the solution. Because by building workplaces that celebrate uniqueness and nurture potential, we can really unlock higher performance, deeper loyalty, and more resilient teams. And for me, the benefits are clear. Higher levels of innovation and adaptability, because people would think outside the box constantly and permanently. They are more engaged. They feel more fulfilled. This is what Gallup reports show, where we are lacking. You have a greater talent retention and attraction because people want to work for you in that company. That helps uniqueness to come to the forefront. You get stronger team cohesion. Everybody would understand who can support him or her in a certain aspect. It's the one for all for one principle of the Four Musketeers. And it gives, for me, a clear competitive edge that is future-proof. So here's my challenge for you. When I think of your organization, where might your organization be unknowingly reinforcing conformity? What's one way your organization could celebrate individuality more consciously? Think about that. And let's keep this conversation alive. Share your reflections in comments. Connect with me on the different platforms on LinkedIn. Visit my website, humaninthecenter.com. Book a call. Reach out to me. Explore how you bring conscious leadership into your workplace, into your organization. And if you're really tired of carrying the weight of leadership all alone, or if your team feels off and you're questioning everything, for sure, let's talk. One honest conversation can shift everything. Reach out, let's shape a new path forward. Real, aligned, and built for you and your team. Because standardized solutions are not the thing. So the real question is, are you ready to lead differently? Thank you for tuning in, and until the next time, stay intentional, stay conscious, and keep leading with purpose. Thank you for listening to the Conscious Leadership Podcast. Look forward to the next episode to come, and stay intentional, stay conscious, and keep leading with purpose. Until the next time, bye.